Hey, it's smoke o'clock. So today I wanted to talk about circles of support. I stole this from a bunch of infographics and some other people at Just No Mill, and I think it was originally in an article at the LA Times, which I'll see if I can't post in the description box. But I thought this was really, really smart. Oh gosh, lighting. Okay. I thought this was really, really smart, and so I wanted to share this. So if you take the person who is having a crisis, they are the center of the circle of support. And if you think of it as a bullseye, the next ring out is immediate family, and then the next ring out is, extremely close friends, and then extended family, all the way out to, looky-loos and people who just feed on drama. So the rule should be support in, dump out. And a lot of narcissists or just socially awkward people violate this rule, and that can create a whole lot of drama and tension and bad shit when people are already going through really, really bad shit. So a narcissist always sees themselves as the center of every crisis bullseye. So if you have, an office buddy and you're going through, some horrible medical thing, they will, this person who honestly, in the scale of your life, barely freaking knows you, will make your cancer or your miscarriage or your personal tragedy all about them. And then they come to you for support. And that is really, really damaging and awful. So if you explicitly make it clear, hey, you need to find your support elsewhere, like dump out from the tragedy, the epicenter of the problem. Support in. My current tragedy is my cigarette is out. Oh, and I dropped my lighter. No, I'm trying not to flash my cleavage on my YouTube channel. The opposite of most people. So, yeah, a member of the Just No Mill community, super awesome chick, just got really, really shitty news. I'm a research nerd, and she's not up for numbers or research or anything that could, be like potentially useful when she's no longer so emotionally frazzled in her situation. So I'm just putting it all in a doc file, and if she wants it, I will use that as support and put support into the circle. But I think that's something that a lot of people are never really taught, and it can lead to a lot of awkwardness around things like tragedy. One of my Russian friends, when I was growing up, said that Americans were weird because sex was considered normal and death was an obscenity, and everybody goes through death and not everybody goes through sex. So our culture has some gaps in like how you support and help people going through this. And if you want to be supportive, like offering cleaning services, most of the time if you're in shock, that can be something that just goes by the wayside or gets ignored. But some people stress clean, in which case cleaning is not super helpful. Casseroles are really, really helpful, because if you're, stressed to the max and going through all of this stuff, you don't necessarily want to cook or clean up afterwards. You've got so much else on your plate. So, like, making a couple of freezer meals and putting that closer towards the center of the circles of support. Support in. These are two very practical things that women around the world have done to support family and community members going through hard times. And then dump out. So if you're, if you have a friend who has a spouse that's sick, you support the friend supports the spouse, and when you need support, you go to another friend or somebody who's further out of the circle to get your support and emotional needs met. Because caretaking for people going through hard times is difficult, but it's what makes communities and families work and worth it. So that's it. If you hadn't already seen like the bazillion infographics about it, it's worth looking into. My concern with a lot of those is it puts parents in the same circle as partners, and I think we all know that I don't think parents are in the same circle as partners. Those are extended family once you get married, not immediate family, and immediate family needs the support more than the extended family does. So my spouse has a debilitating illness, a chronic illness with no cure. So I've gone through this, and my dad ended up with a lot of close scares. So I've had to go through this cycle myself a lot of times and seen just how damaging it is when somebody doesn't understand that they're in the same circle and need to offer support, or that they are not the epicenter. And a good example of this, which the Just No Millers have all heard, my mother has never once actually asked how I felt about my dad's death, and I was a daddy's girl. Because in her mind, being the widow meant that she was the absolute center, and it never occurred to her that her kids might have been emotionally impacted and need some support for their father's death as well. And as a spouse, I mean, I called mom 2-3 times a week for months after dad passed away to make sure that she was adequately supported, but it never occurred to her to give support as well, because she didn't realize that dad was the epicenter and that other people were in that same circle and also needed some support. So it's awful when shitty things happen, especially when shitty things happen to people in your community, but that's the best way that you can make a